What is shaking, everybody? Yeah, the voice isn't quite there yet, but fuck it, it's game 7, right? You got to come on for game 7 after a game that that wasn't the artistically speaking the prettiest game in the world, but doesn't matter because the Warriors won. The Warriors won. Do we know one thing? We know one thing: the Rockets don't beat the Warriors in the playoffs. They just don't. There are just certain teams don't beat other teams, and the Warriors kick them in the nuts again and say, "See ya. Thanks for coming to the 2025 playoffs." Now, I do think they have a bright future in Houston. I think they're only going to get better. I think they need some trades. Jalen Green really didn't have the series. I'm sure they're hoping. He was their leading scorer in the regular season. He had one good game. That was it. Or one good game offensively, I should say. Şengün's their all-star. Draymond owned him. Owned him. I'm going to have Max give me a stat, how many points Şengün scored on how many shots he took. And it wasn't pretty. And keep in mind, these are also including layups and dunks. When you put Draymond on him and he shot the ball outside 5 feet, forget it. His shooting percentage is probably 40%. And I'm talking like 6 footers, 7 footers. Draymond was wearing him out. And that's just what Draymond does. But the Warriors get it done. Buddy Hield. Who would have thought the Buddy Hield game was coming in game 7? Buddy ball. Just getting it done. Not air buddy, 3 buddy. And then another 3 buddy. And then how about some 3 more? 6 for 7 from 3 in the first half. I think it was 7. They shut him down in the second half. But you expected them to jump him a little bit after he lit their ass up in the first half. 9 for 11. So he had 3 of them in the second half. Man. 9 for 11. You knew that was going to be Steph, right? Nope, 2 for 8. But Steph managed to get it done inside the arc. 16, 6, and 5 for Steph. And they were just magnificent. And I haven't looked at this yet because I'm just getting the box score here. I bet this has got to be the only game Steven Adams was a minus. Yep, -9. Only game all series Steven Adams was a minus and plus-minus, and the Warriors win that game. So, it was a grinder of a game. That was this series. This series was a complete meat grinder the whole way through. Just tough possessions, scraps for the ball. Got to hit your free throws, got to take care of the ball. And speaking of taking care of the ball, that was the other big stat today. I think that's the reason the Warriors won tonight was it 7 turnovers I think they had, if I remember? Yeah, 7. That's it. 7 turnovers. And they just wore them out of the three-point line. The Rockets only scored, they were 6 for 18, Warriors 18 for 43. And they finally, after 3 straight games of just killing them, shut Van Vliet down a little bit. He still had 17 points on 13 field goal attempts, so he was still pretty good. He just didn't get up the volume, didn't get up the threes that he was getting up the previous 3 games. But Buddy got it going early. I thought early on, the biggest factor in the game in the first half, the Warriors were just tougher. They got to the loose balls. They knocked the Rockets around. When the Rockets got to the rim, they bodied them and made them take tough shots and miss shots at the rim. They scrapped and got the 50-50 balls. Like, that was them in the first half. That's how they built that lead. Like, the piece of gold, right? That's Buddy. That was Buddy, because that's like shiny and all that. And it's just great. And I wish I had another analogy to throw in there that was the grimy, gritty. I don't know. Maybe that was the soil, the rock that gold's in. I'm not going to, it's not going to make any sense. As I was thinking it through, I'm like, this is going nowhere. This is actually going to go right and just hit a wall, pop, and just straight down. But that was the backbone. Like, that was the backbone of the first half, because everybody was in on it. Everybody was in on getting on the ground. Everybody was in on collapsing on drivers. Everybody was in on firing out on shooters. Everyone was getting after loose balls. You had Jimmy Butler diving after a loose ball, Steph diving after a loose ball. I mean, everybody was getting their hands on ball. They're getting deflections. It was awesome watching them play like that. And the Rockets couldn't quite handle it. Like, if the Rockets did some work in the paint, they have to. And again, that's probably going to be their mission going forward. Get someone who can be a consistent perimeter scorer. Maybe Devin Booker, maybe Kevin Durant, maybe someone like that, where they can have someone that's like, hey, this guy's a threat, and he opens up. Because if you don't have that guy, it just clogs everything up. And that's what this series was. This series was just, again, it was clogged the whole time. I mean, it was like you needed a Drano double impact to get. You couldn't do it, and that's just the way. Again, another game where only one team gets over 100 points. This time, it's the Warriors. And like I said earlier on, Rockets don't beat the Warriors, not in the playoffs anyway. That was their 12th time they played this year. Are you kidding me? The Dodgers and Giants will play 12 times this year. Like in division, you play a team in your division rival in baseball 12 times. I've never seen that before. I don't even know that there's no way that could have happened. Could it? Because they played 2 extra times because of the midseason tournament. So it should have been 3. Usually the way it works out, you play 4 in your division. Every once in a while, you play 5. And then you play 3, same conference at a division. And then 2, home and away. Eastern Conference, if you're in the Western Conference. So 12 times. That's just wild. And I think in 2 of those games, both teams went over 500, or both teams went over 100. They certainly didn't go over 500. They didn't shoot over 500. But, you look at some of the stats and you would have thought, man, the Rockets definitely won this game, didn't they? I mean, you look at the stats. Rebounds, Rockets dominated. Offensive rebounds, Rockets dominated. Steals, well, that was 5 and 6. Turnovers, 11, not bad for the Rockets. Again, only 7 for the Warriors. Points in the paint, 46-34, got closer there at the end. The Warriors were actually, in most of the games, to my recollection, were better scoring points in the paint in the second half than they were in the first half. Warriors won points off turnover 18-12. Fouls were dead even, 14-14. It was a low. I love those type of series. It was physical. It was rough. You probably could have called a lot more fouls. I'll take fewer fouls than more fouls any day of the week. I mean, in theory, it should make the game flow. Not so much this series. This series wasn't a flowing type series. It was more of a lake, like just stagnant. The water was definitely not moving at all. Offensive rebounds, Warriors only had 3. Free throws, only shot 9, made 7. 15-21 for the Rockets. The threes is where they got it. The threes is where 18 threes for the Warriors, 6 for the Rockets, and then assists. And that's always been the kind of the Rockets and the Warriors, right? Like how they play. Go back to when they played when Harden was there. It was like the Warriors with this egalitarian style of basketball. We're going to share it. We're going to move it. We're going to shout. You're open. I'm going to pass it to you. I'm going to drive. I'm going to kick. I'm going to drive, pass it to you. And then it was the Rockets. It was like almost autocratic basketball where it's like, give the ball to Harden, let him go. Everybody stand around and watch. And the Warriors always had more assists. Well, I mean, can't say always, but what I'm saying, than the Rockets. So it was like, to me, it was almost a referendum on basketball. It's like, do you like team basketball? Or do you like analytics basketball where one guy gets to the free throw line, one guy shoots a bunch of threes, gets to the rim, draws the defense, kicks it out, and everybody just stands around and shoots threes? So, I mean, I obviously love the Warriors style of basketball much better. So not only was I rooting for them back then, because it's a team I was working for, team I played for, team one of my best friends' coaches, I'm still rooting for them. Now, it's not the same Rocket team. They don't play the same style, but they're not a big assist team. They're kind of a one-on-one team, and it shows 24-14 in assists. Let me get this stat for you. Max just sent me this. This is Şengün over the course of a 7-game series. 131 field goals, 146 points. That's about 1.1. I mean, that's not great, especially when you're shooting inside of 10 feet most of the time. And again, I thought that was a huge key to today. huge key to the series when the Warriors won specifically. But Draymond owns those type of players that are kind of bully ball players. And Şengün does have good footwork. I'll give him that. And I think he's a solid player. It's just Draymond's hard for him to navigate because a lot of time that footwork is nullified because Draymond is quick and can move and has a 7'2" wingspan. When he gets a stiff out there or somebody's a little, I shouldn't say a stiff, a little stiffer, it's easier for him to navigate around him. That might be a little foreshadowing to next series, which we'll touch on this week. I'm hoping to get the Minnesota Timberwolves color analyst, one of my best friends, Jim Peterson, former teammate of the Warriors, join us and talk about the Wolves win over the Lakers and look forward to this series. There's one play I wanted to point out to you guys so you guys can kind of understand what I'm talking about when I say spacing and how spacing's supposed to work and how Steve would like it to work. Because this was taken right out of 2015, 17, 18. It was like perfect. If you have the game recorded, go back and watch with about 8 minutes left, 8:15, somewhere around there. And the Warriors, Steph gets doubled up top, and Draymond catches it at the free throw line. And then immediately the defense collapses. He swings it to Buddy Hield on the wing. Bam. Three-pointer. Good. That's what it looks like when it's like working. Either Draymond catches, drives, penetrates. Now, they don't have the center that they used to have. They don't have Bogues. They don't have a Festus. Name one. I mean, the tall centers that they had where they could throw the lob threat too. So they had like they had the defense just on a string back then. But that's how it should look. And that used to be Clay over there. So it's like, pick your poison. You want double step? Okay, we'll give it to Dre in the middle of the court. You're going to suck in off Clay. Bang. Just about as good. I mean, the second best shooter in the game. We're good with that. And the heater that Buddy was on, that's the way it should work. So when you put different lineups in there and like Buddy's not a part of it, and Buddy wasn't great last game, to be honest. He didn't shoot the ball well, didn't get open, his confidence wasn't there. He got it started early tonight. But when it is working, that's what it looks like. But, Kuminga is not that guy. Potts can be that guy. Moody was for a while, but you saw his shot today. His confidence isn't quite there. And game sevens, those aren't easy when you're a young player. So, there are guys that, you'd like to keep away from that. You'd like them to be the next swing pass in the corner. You don't want them to be the first pass. But then the defense has time to recover. But if you recorded the game, go back and look at that. Because that's what I'm talking about when I talk about spacing and how spacing should look. So when they double team Steph, there's a price to pay. And that was the price to pay. And today the price was Buddy's open, Buddy's whooping your ass. And at the end of the first quarter, I'm not sure what the Rockets were doing. Now, granted, it's a 40-footer. You don't expect a guy to bottom a 40-footer, but you can't let him dribble right into it with momentum. What happens is he dribbles into it with momentum, and now that 40-footer is probably about a 34-footer because all that momentum you're carrying, all that energy you're bringing to the shot transfers to the ball when you let it go. So you don't got to get under it as much. You don't got to push off as much. It's not as – think of it this way. If you take that same shot fading away, you'll never get it there. You'll never get it there. Why? Because energy is going away from the basket, right? If you're going toward the basket, it's much easier. And he just stepped into that, and he was feeling himself anyway. So he drilled that, and it got a little close. Started the third quarter. Warriors turned the ball over a couple times, got a couple shots blocked, missed some easy shots they were making. Kind of felt them tighten up a little bit, right? Kind of felt them tighten up just a little bit. And then it culminated with Jabari Smith Jr. hitting that three off an offensive rebound. He had missed a corner three. They got the offensive rebound, kicked it back out to him on the wing, bangs a three. All of a sudden, it's a 3-point game. It's like, here we go. Here we go. And then the Warriors reestablished. Bang, bang, bang. I think it was a Jimmy and one. It was another bucket. And then it went back up to 10. And then at that point, they kind of held them at bay. I think they got it to 7 maybe after that. But I don't think they got any closer than that. But the Rockets, it played out like I thought it might play out. And if the Warriors won, I thought one of the reasons would be Rockets just don't have enough offensive versatility. right? You got to have some shooting. That spacing I talk about, they don't really have any spacing. Van Vliet is their spacing. Dylan Brooks isn't a bad three-point shooter. He's a catch-and-shoot guy. Again, Draymond owns Şengün, so that kind of takes away that option, even though they kept going to it, and I would too. Of course I would. But I'd like to know how many points he scored on Draymond per possession, because a lot of those buckets, again, were when they were playing that zone, and Podziemski was singled up on him. And they didn't want to leave anybody, so they let Şengün go to work. So I don't know what he did against Draymond, but I'd be surprised if it was over 0.9 shots, 0.9 points per shot or per possession, whatever it is. I know somebody can find me that. I'll get our stat guy on it at some point. But I just thought Draymond was nails, absolute nails against Şengün. And it was huge, too, because Steph didn't get it going early. When Steph missed that three by like a foot, I was like, what is going on? Steph doesn't miss corner threes, let alone by a foot. I don't know if the thumb was bothering him a little bit. Sometimes when a defense is playing you like that, you tend to like, oh, my gosh, I'm open. Let me get rid of this because they're coming. And you rush it a little bit. And then he hit that 2-for-1 opportunity, I think, at the end of the second quarter. That was huge because that's like a free one. That's like a free shot at it. Just let me go. 30. They call it 33. And what that means is you want to get a shot up with 33 seconds left. So for those of you that don't understand that, this is something we did with the Warriors like 40 years ago. And it's just simple math. When you have a chance to get 2 shots at the end of a quarter, get 2 shots at the end of the quarter. Right? 2 40% shots are worth more than 1 60% shot. Now, you don't want like 25% shots. But the key is getting a decent first shot at the proper time. You take it down under 30, now you risk not getting the second shot. And now you get a 40% or maybe even a little lower percent shot on your first shot. That's not what you want. You want 2 of those bad boys. So they call it 33, which makes sense because I've always said anywhere between 32 and 34 that's fine. 32, 34, 31, you're starting to push it now. You get to 30. Nah, I'm not down for that really, unless it's like just a great shot. And go ahead and let it rip. But you get into the 20s and just forget about it. Don't try to jack anything up in the 20s just to get a 2-for-1 because you're probably not going to get a 2-for-1. No, unless the other team bucks it up, which they do all the time. And the Warriors do, to be quite honest. I've never seen so many teams in the NBA have trouble with the end of the quarter. Like, can we just get the last shot? If the game is tied and you have the ball with the shot clock turned off, the goal is to leave the quarter tied. At worst. At worst. Now, if you get a wide open layup, perfect. Good. I don't even care if it's a wide open 3 unless you're Steph. That's it. I ain't shooting it. And I'm not even going to take a 2 if it's wide open. I've seen this before. Somebody's like, oh, wide open 2. Nice. Hit it. They go down, hit a 3. You've just lost 1 point on that exchange. And you didn't need to. A lot of this stuff is math. I know sometimes a lot of people think, I don't like analytics. I don't like, no. I'm a big analytics guy, big math guy, all that stuff. I just think in its proper place. But yeah, you got to listen to the math. Listen to the math. My voice didn't like that at all. Me trying to go rock set on you guys. 1980s, look it up. Sweet blonde hair. So I'm going to get to some comments here in a minute before my voice just completely takes a dump. But I'll let you guys have your say, and I can answer all the questions you want. We can save all the Minnesota stuff until I'll touch on it toward the end. But I'm not going to get into it too much because, well, that's what we're going to do this week. Let's see if I can get some guests on, some hoops guests to talk about this series and maybe some of the playoff series going forward, and see who's available this week. And then we'll try to keep it basketball. I still want to get some football in here. I still want to talk about the Niners draft, but as far as I know, nothing's going to change between now and OTA. So We can talk about the draft after the basketball season. I'm pretty sure all the players they drafted are going to be on the team at that point. I'm not talking September. I'm talking at that point. They should be here, so we could talk about them. But it was just, again, defensive series, tough series. The defense won them the game tonight. The toughness won them the game tonight. The force they played with won them the game. Won them the game tonight. The battle for 50-50 balls, loose balls, all those. That's what won them the game tonight. Okay, Buddy, again, Buddy is the guy who, if it was hockey, right, he gets 3 stars. He gets 3 stars for tonight. But the defense is the real star of the show. That was a complete team effort, and that's what started it, and that's what carried him through. And so, and when you think Warriors, you always think finesse, Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Kevin Durant, Iguodala. You don't really think physical players, but, Harrison Barnes, physical. Draymond Green, physical. Andrew Bogut, maybe crossed the line of physical a few times, which I personally enjoyed. Festus was physical. And even the guys that I mentioned, they're more physical than you think they are. That's not what they're known for, but you don't win championships without being physical on defense with an F. Oh, man. So, plan for me is just wait until the team gets home. I don't want to be there if I'm going to be sick. I don't want to be typhoid Tom and get anybody sick. So I'm just going to stay here, watch the games on TV. It'll be good for us. We can do the show right after the game. I don't want to have to do the video. Maybe I should do a video from upstairs in my closet and just tell you guys what happened in the game. I'll put like a TV in the background, like I'm at the arena. And then I'll say, see you guys in 20 seconds. And then I'll show up down here. That seems a waste of everybody's time. So I won't. But we'll let you know. But expect that I will be doing the show after, like directly after, within 5 minutes, and hopefully shorter than that. It's supposed to be 80 here in Alameda, though, so I may lay out and get some sun. So we'll see. Do I look like somebody that gets sun? I don't get sun. These scars will attest to how much I enjoy sun. And these ones, and that one. Oh, and this one. And don't get me started. The sun and I are not buddies at all. So it's warm tomorrow. I'll be keeping my ass inside. And I'm not sure what we'll do as far as a show. We'll probably figure it out. We'll probably go Tuesday post-game, Wednesday show, Thursday post-game, probably Friday show. We'll try anyway. We'll see. I got to see how the voice holds up. I've just been laying in bed all day doing nothing. Drinking tea upstairs. Everyone's down here. It was my wife, Lori Tolbert, my lovely wife, her birthday today. So happy birthday, Lori. Love you. And I didn't get to celebrate. They were all down here, and I was just upstairs. They had the karaoke machine going. Not that I'm a huge karaoke guy, but if I tried karaoke today, oh, man, you wouldn't be hearing me right now. And the dogs would be howling because you wouldn't want to hear that. Although I could probably rip off some pretty good Skinnerd, something like that. And so they had a good time doing that and then hanging out down here together. Yeah, would have been fun to have been down here to celebrate, but what are you going to do? We got to go up there and watch the Pacers take down the Cavs. That's a big one. When's Garland coming back? Pacers are good. People kind of slept on the Pacers early in the season. They got after that poor start. You look at the record, the last like 30 games or so, it's a good basketball team, a really good basketball team. And if they don't have Garland, they can get beat. And then we'll get into certainly we may do, I come to think of it, we may do something, a little something Tuesday before the game, kind of a primer. What to look for, what might be the keys to the series. I'll touch on a few of them before I go tonight, but it'll probably do that and then come back on after the game and kind of keep this thing rolling. So, all right. If you guys have some comments, questions, we can definitely do that. Again, I got to keep I got to keep drinking my tea. Anyway. Everybody wishing Lori a happy birthday. Yes. Just so everybody knows, Lorrie. It's a different spelling of Lori. And I know there's Lories, there's Loris, there's Lauries. And she's one of the few I know that is L double Lorrie, or as we just call her LT. That's why she's number 56. And no, Abdul Carter, you can't have it. So anyway, expend a lot of energy. Yeah, they might get run. He's asking what as far as the energy they expended tonight. What do I expect that to show in game one? There's a chance they could get blasted in game one. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to sit here and sugarcoat it. All right. I'm not here to kiss your ass and blow smoke up your skirts or whatever that saying is. But yeah, I mean, that's just a bad look. It's better than the alternative, right? And then going home. But you're flying tomorrow. I don't think it's a long flight, but it's probably a couple hours. Get up the next day and play a very well-rested Minnesota team who's playing really good. And Anthony Edwards is the man. That guy. You watch him when he comes across the middle. 1 foot runners. It looks like Jordan. I mean, Kobe looked like Jordan because, well, Kobe, patterned his game directly after Jordan. I don't think Anthony Edwards did. From what I hear about him, he's like that era, other than Jordan, didn't have any athletes anyway. So I'm not sure how much you watch Jordan, but I watch him. I'm going, wow. Not many guys that I would say that. Like, that reminded me of Jordan. He's one of them. Like, he's a real dude. He's a real dude. And they got a lot of confidence, too. And they're going to be they're a big team. So another big team for the Warriors to contend with. Difference between them and the Rockets, they can shoot. They have dudes that can shoot on that team. Edwards can shoot. Mikhail Walker can shoot. DiVincenzo can shoot. Conley a little bit. He didn't get a lot of chances, but he can shoot. Naz Reid, noted Warriors slayer, can shoot. So they can stretch the court on you, and they can go big. So it's going to be a much more imposing challenge for the Warriors to face that T-Wolves team than it was the Rockets team, just because of their ability to also get after you, play defensively, but stretch the court out on you a little bit. Do you think Steve leaves Buddy in the starting lineup? I got to think about that. I'll have an answer for you tomorrow. I'll look at what the starting lineup is for the T-Wolves. Off the top of my head, I'm guessing Conley, Edwards, McDaniels, Randall, Gobert. I mean, he could. I don't know what he's going to go. I don't know what he's going to prioritize in this one. I'm not sure. We know one thing Steve likes to do: tinker with starting lineups. The man does not mind throwing out a new starting lineup. I don't mind it either. I think anybody that's listened to me for any period of time knows that I'm not a huge starting lineup guy. It's like, whatever. I'm a huge closing lineup guy. And however you need to navigate to get to that point, well, that's what you do, minutes-wise. But, you do want to get off to a good start. But I don't think it makes a huge difference. Now, in Game 7, elimination game, stuff like that, yeah, then it becomes a little more critical, right? You want to make sure you get off to a good start, especially on the road. You don't want to feel like, oh, gosh, we're digging out of a hole the whole game. Already down 8 points. So, but for the most part, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Maybe I'll check in with him. I'll have some inside info for you, and then I'll pass it off as my own. And you go, damn, Tom knows what he's talking about. He's locked in. Well, I mean, I guess I am kind of locked in. Was I surprised Looney didn't come back in when Adams and Şengün played? Came back in the fourth. I mean, gotta be honest, by that point, I wasn't really thinking about that. I was just thinking, get the boards, get out, take care of the ball, and you should be good by that point. I was glad to see Looney get in there and contribute. And look, let me see. what Looney's plus minus was for the game. I bet you it's pretty decent. I mean, Looney's a guy too. It's never gonna stats. He's not a guy that's gonna get you a bunch of stats. Looney had 11 minutes, so 3 points, 4 rebounds, 4 rebounds, 11 minutes is good. If you get a rebound every 3 minutes, that's solid. And Looney was up a net 0, so he was neither positive nor negative. And so, but Looney was fine. Looney's fine, and like he might have a role in the next series. That's possible with Gobert out there, and so, but we'll see. I mean, over under on Steve's starting lineups against the Wolves. I'll go 2.5. I think this series it was 4, but one of them was when Butler was injured. So I don't know if I count that one. So it was 3, but I'll still go 2.5. As a man loves, I kidded him earlier this year when I used to have a radio broadcast. We set the over under on how many starting lineups he'd have before the new year. And I set it at 9.5. And then as I said that, I thought that's a lot, 9.5 starting lineups. And he goes, "Oh God, hope it's under. I mean, it should be under." And I thought, yeah, he blew through that early December. It wasn't even close. I mean, of course there's injuries, but again, Steve has no problems mixing and matching. let's just do this and do that and do this and do that. And where is the starting lineup? Wrong. You lose. So, all right, what else we got? Judas Priest or Black Sabbath? Easy, Black Sabbath. And I like Judas Priest, but that's an easy one for me. Black Sabbath, and you know it's obviously the I'm sorry, it's the Ozzy Black Sabbath. Although Ronnie James Dio, I like Ronnie James Dio. It's just not the same, obviously. But the Last in Line, go catch Tim Ryan. Let's sing you some Last in Line. He loves little Ronnie James Dio. Forget basketball. Where is that snoring dog? That snoring dog's outside somewhere. And she didn't come down. She was just chilling. I don't know what she's doing. She was upstairs all day with me, laying in bed. In fact, I'm going to show you this picture that I have here that I took while I was laying watching TV. So I tell you guys this all the time. Okay, let me see. I got to make sure it's the cat picture. I don't want any inappropriate pictures coming over the broadcast. There is no inappropriate pictures on my cell phone. I was like first in line on that one. Remember when that was a thing? When athletes, got caught sending dick pics and all that kind of stuff. I'm like, bro, what are you doing? Do you actually think that's not gonna come out? Well, you trusting everybody? Like people that send stuff online or texting, not online but texting, like, all right, just go ahead and assume it's coming out because it will at some point, unless you plan on marrying her and never making her mad, or vice versa. You end up marrying him and never making him mad, or you know what? Just so I cover all my bases, just in case he marries him and he doesn't get mad and she marries. I'm not going to do the they theirs things. Okay, that's just too much for me. Okay, I covered about as many bases as I was like to cover. I probably went a little too deep on that anyway. But here's the picture. I'll see if I can get this. This is me laying there, and these are. I'm going to remind you this. These cats are sisters. There. And I'm sitting there thinking, oh no, this is gonna be friendly fire. I'm gonna get carved up here, because they were looking at each other and they weren't out and out growling. But you know what's that little thing that cats do? I was like, come on. Your sisters. Your sisters. I should call them Lois and Dee, though. That's my mom and her sister. My mom was like, really? I go, hey, you know what? I can't help myself. It's there. I see ball, I hit ball. That's just what I do. So don't blame me. Don't say I'm putting too much thought into it. If a joke's there, I see it and I say it. Some work, some don't, and I move on. I let everybody discuss. Do I have any stories from when I faced Charles Barkley? Oh, yeah. First time I faced him when I was a rookie. I was with Charlotte. He was at Philly. He caught the ball in the wing. I went down to guard him like this. I got in a defensive stance. I was like, all right, let's go. And he just started like chuckling. I was like, Jesus, that's insulting. I go, yeah, I'm trying to guard you. I know I'm not going to have a good chance of, but laugh like chuckling, please. But then after that, after I banged him around a little bit, I think at least I earned his respect. But I mean, obviously, me against Charles is a little bit of a mismatch. Yeah, they tolerated each other because they wanted to snuggle. No, they didn't. They tolerated each other because when Kit came up and laid down, she didn't realize Pip was there. And then by the time she turned her head that way, Kit didn't want to move. She was like, I'm comfortable. I'm not moving. And Pip didn't want to move. So they just, again, it was an uneasy truce, as they like to put it. And then you know what broke it up? Lou just bounding on the bed, just bounding, cats going everywhere. Interestingly enough, Lou and Kit, the black cat, get along very well. Lou and Pip, not so much. I don't know why. They don't get along all that well. And so, all right, what else we got? My tea's starting to go from hot to lukewarm on me. That didn't quite do the trick, does it? Pods guarding Şengün. No. That was it. He was in a zone, right? That's when they had him guard him, when he was in a zone. And that's when actually Şengün scored. So I don't think that was the idea, was to match up Pajemski on Şengün, but they didn't mind that matchup occasionally in the middle of that zone. I do think they like the Şengün on Pajemski matchup on the other end, but Pods just couldn't get it going today. He had hit a couple early, hit that 3 early, and I want to say, what did he end up like 1 for 7 from 3? Let me look right here. He was 3-pointers, 1 for 7. Yeah, Draymond was 2 for 8. How about that one Draymond caught in the fourth quarter, curling up from left to right, stop and pop? I'm like, whoa, easy there. What are we doing here? Well, that's a Steph Curry shot you tried to pull there. But Draymond was 2 for 8 from 3, but 7 for 15 overall. So that means he was 5 for 7 inside the arc. And Pajemski was 3 for 5 inside the arc. But they just couldn't get it going from 3. But that's okay. Buddy was there to clean everything up. Buddy 9 for 11. Got everything going. So, again, really nice series win. Hell of a job. You get 4 more minimum against a really, really good team. Have I watched any NHL playoffs this year? Yeah, I have. I watched the Stars and the Lanch last night. Ouch. That hurts. I watched some of the Oilers and the Kings. Those are the 2 series that I've watched the most of. That had to hurt the Avalanche too, man. Rantanen sticking it to him. Eesh. Now, I don't follow it as closely during the regular season, so I know I'd read he wasn't playing all that well for Dallas, and they gave up a lot of picks to get him. And I'm not even sure where they got him from. I think Rantanen went to Carolina, and then from Carolina, he wasn't playing that one. Then he went to Dallas, I think, and Colorado got rid of him because they couldn't afford him. right? You're already paying McKinnon. You're already playing McCarr. And when they had Landeskog, McCarr, McKinnon, and Ratnan, I mean, that's like a stacked lineup. It's still pretty damn good. I mean, McKinnon's one of the top forwards in the game. McCarr may be the best defender in the game, if not top handful. And, I thought when they took that lead, they're going to hold on, but Rantanen said no. I watched the Leafs close out the Senators. Oh, man. I was kind of pulling for game 7 in that series. I just wanted to see if the Leafs could handle the pressure. And then when they won, I was like, good for them. Good for them. I mean, they don't have to deal with it. If you ask Drew Mendes, say, screw him. He goes, everybody in Canada can't stand the Maple Leafs except for Maple Leafs fans and Toronto. That's it. He goes, everyone will pull against the Maple Leafs. And I asked him, I go, why? He goes, kind of like the Yankees. Overexposed, too much coverage. It's all people talk about. It's all the sports shows talk about. And you just get tired of it. And so I go, okay, I'm down with that. Let's go against the Leafs then. If Drew's going against the Leafs, I'm going to go against the Leafs. When's the last time I had Rice-A-Roni? Oh, I mean, when I was 10, I have no idea. I don't know. I got to be honest. I don't know the last time I had Rice-A-Roni, the San Francisco treat. I couldn't. 10's just a guess, but I don't recollect ever having it since I moved out of the house. I don't think. Maybe Lori bought some, but I don't know. When I use rice, I like to get like the like when I make jambalaya, I get like the long grain rice and use that. I mean, there are some things I could use Rice-A-Roni for, but I don't know. There's another brand that I prefer and go with that one. Whereas bench only 3 points. Whereas bench only 3 points total. Yeah, I mean, look, they didn't score, but they gave him minutes. And the starters were getting it done, so they didn't need him to score. Just get in there, take care of the ball. Didn't play a lot of minutes, but the only negative in plus minus was Kuminga, -4. He was 0 for 4, 1 turnover, had a steal. That was such a tough spot for him to be put in. And I understand why Steve did it. He needed the minutes with GP being out. But game 7, right? You're already not playing. You're only playing because GP's out. And then your confidence is kind of shot because of that. It's a tough spot. That's a really tough spot to succeed in. So I don't know what to say. It is what it is. I don't expect him to be a part of the rotation in Minnesota unless somebody gets hurt or something strange happens. So, it is what it is. Who's going to play primary defender on I'm guessing Jimmy. I'm guessing Jimmy Butler. And I'll tell you one reason why I give the Warriors a chance in this series. Not a chance, not like they're going to be a huge underdog, but a decent chance. Let me see if I can pop up the odds. See if they have the odds for this series yet. Is because Randall, who bullied the Lakers, he ain't bullying the Warriors. For the same reason Şengün couldn't bully the Warriors. And I'll give you a clue what that reason is. Starts with a D, ends with an N. Draymond Green. He's not going to go through Draymond like that. I can tell you that right now. But, look, anybody, they're going to need help. This isn't going to be now. It could be a lot of it. Now, Randall's not a great passer. Randall gets the ball and he goes. So they may be able to double him selectively, but I'm always, I shouldn't say always. I do that a lot. I'm always, it's kind of just a figure of speech, like a lot. But just about anybody Draymond matches up against, I'm okay letting him go one-on-one. That's how much faith I have in him as a defender. Like, hey, try him. People have been trying him for 13, 14 years. How many years have he been in the league? That's how many years they've been trying him. So I'm okay with, hey, Randall, you want to go at Draymond? Be my guest. Go ahead. Now, as good as Jimmy can be defensively, I don't think there's a person out there that's going to guard Anthony Edwards one-on-one without help. You're just not going to. Too young, too athletic, explosive, shoots over 40% from three. And then some of the finishes he had in the Lakers series, this guy just levitates. It's like Dua Lipa out there. Was that a good one for 60-year-old? Just thought I'd throw that out there for you guys. Let's see. No, I don't see it yet. My guess would be the Warriors are pretty heavy favorites in this series. I think they ended up being like 170. I'm going to guess that the Timberwolves are 150, 140 to 150, maybe 130. I don't think they'll be any higher than 150, but maybe they will. I'm interested to see what the line for the first game is. Because remember, the Warriors took 3 out of 4 from them during the course of the year. Okay, hey, it's Crow. 165. Thank you, Jeremiah. I guess that makes sense. I was thinking maybe 170, but then I go, that's pretty high. 165, I guess that sounds about right. That sounds about right. Because I'm guessing the spread on the first game, probably like 6. Something like that, maybe 5. If it's any more than 6, then I would recommend the Warriors if you're getting like 6.5, 7. But be careful, because again, that could be one of those games they just get smashed, just because scheduling, right? Tough, physical, emotional, 7-game series. Get on a plane, fly to Minnesota. Who's been resting? Go play them in front of a hyped up Target Center. So, yeah, that could be one where now that's one. If you're getting hammered late in the third, you might want to think about pulling the plug there and giving some guys a little extra rest. Any idea why Jalen Green disappeared after getting? No. I mean, the Warriors got up into him, didn't let him get going downhill, and made him take fadeaway jump shots. And then when he got to the paint, for the most part, they collapsed. He had that one finish early in the game tonight that was really nice. Came from the right baseline, went up and under, left hand, banked it in, got the foul, and then kicked the free throw. But that's his game. Getting downhill, getting to the paint, pull-up jump shot, and they didn't let him get to that. And they made it a point. He was like my key to the game almost every game. Stop this guy, and you're going to have a good chance of winning. Now, the 2 games they did stop him and they lost, Van Vliet went bananas. I did not see that one coming. Didn't see that one coming. So, yeah, that's something they're going to have to look at next year. Like, if they make a big trade with it to get a huge player, I could see Jalen Green being that guy they throw in. Because I could see another team being excited about him, maybe being able to develop him a little bit. But that's the problem. I'd have to go look at it because Kuminga's a G League guy, like Ignite. Jalen Green was an Ignite guy. I'm trying to see how many other guys are Ignite guys. I think Bazelis from Chicago was. So far, like, the skills you may acquire if you go to a college team for a few years aren't there with those guys right now. Unless there's some, like, there's others I'm forgetting about too, I'm sure. But I'm going to have to look at that because I'm just wondering how good that is for your long-term growth going there and, maybe not learning as much fundamentally speaking as you would at a collegiate program. So Warriors plus 140. I wouldn't that sounds about right to me. I don't think there's anything there. All right, let's roll through a few more. Somebody said hit the like button, subscribe. Yeah, that'd be great. I'm glad I'm glad the commenters are saying it. I don't even remember to say it. So thank you. Thank you for looking out. But yeah, if you want to subscribe, you want to like, that'd be fantastic. And we also have the Bay Area Sports Collective, which I need to mention more. I really need to mention all of them more, to be honest with you. But you can get Polly's Particles Pod and John Lund Unleashed and all that stuff. So I would go there, BayAreaSportsCollective.com, I think it is. It has all the information there. But so, yeah, good stuff. Doing some fun stuff, and we'll continue to do some more fun stuff. All right, what else do we have? Somebody said better seafood, Houston or Minnesota. Ah, man. I'll go Minnesota. Just at least they're next to lakes. Is that sea? No, it's not. But it makes you feel better. It's water. It makes you feel like you can get some like fresh walleye there or something like that. Maybe some trout. I don't know what they catch in the lakes there. Okay. What's my favorite brand of hot tea? I don't know. What's the one Kipe always drinks? What's Kipe always pimping? I think we have some of that there in the I think that's what this is, actually. I'm not sure they're ever going to be a sponsor of this show. Bigelow, thank you. Bigelow may never be a sponsor of the show. When my first thing, yeah, that was that Kipe pimps all the time. Yeah, I don't know what it is. Yeah, I think, but I don't drink a lot of hot tea. I'm an iced tea guy. I only drink hot tea when I'm sick. So hot tea, lemon, honey, and I'm good to go. What happened to the Clippers yesterday? That's a great question. That is a great question. I got to be completely honest with you. I thought the game started at 6. It started at 4:30. I turned it on. It was over. 58-40. I go, what in the hell happened? I mean, you can almost count on James Harden not playing well in the 7th game. I don't know why. I don't. I mean, it's not a huge sample size, but probably big enough for a Hall of Fame player that you're like, well, what the hell happened? And I mean, they will tell you, from what I read, the Nuggets will tell you they wouldn't have made it to the second round if Malone and Booth weren't fired and Adelman took over. There must have been some kind of dysfunction going on there. I knew the disputes. I knew Booth wanted Malone to play some of the players that he drafted. Malone didn't want to play him. He didn't trust him, as coaches do. Malone probably thought, I'm the one that won the championship. I coached his team to a championship, and that bought him some time. Apparently not enough. Because, again, to get fired, 3 games before the end of the season? That doesn't happen in the NBA. It doesn't. Happened twice this year. Taylor Jenkins got fired. That wasn't 3 games, but it's a couple weeks that he got whacked. It was just, wow. And Adelman's probably got the inside track to keep the job. The dude, I can't remember his name, from Memphis is keeping the job. So they must have already thought, hey, we're giving this guy the job next year. So Mitch Johnson is going to keep the job down in San Antonio. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Here's what I would tell you. Don't trust the Clippers. Just when you think it's safe to trust the Clippers, don't trust the Clippers. Don't do it. I did it. I thought they'd beat the Nuggets this year. I was right about one thing, that it was going to be a great series, and I thought I'd go 7. But I thought the Clippers would win. Kawhi was playing great. Harden was playing great. Zubac was fantastic. Powell was having an all-star season. The bench is deep. They're athletic. And then Clippers. So don't trust the Clippers. Don't trust the Clippers. Don't take the Rockets to beat the Warriors in the playoffs. Boom. There you go. There's your 2 key takeaways from today's show. Always take the Warriors over the Rockets in the playoffs, and never, ever trust the Clippers. Yeah, and Doug Christie in Sacramento. So he'll be taking I think Mike Woodson's going to be his assistant after leaving Indiana. So we'll see how that goes. So real quick, well, I got to it already. I'm already like in an hour, and like I appreciate everybody for joining. It's always fun hanging out. I wish my voice felt better. It just sucks. I hate when my voice is just trashed. So I'm gonna go have some more tea. I'm going to. I got no. Basketball's over for today. I'm gonna go watch Last of Us. That's actually one of my favorite TV shows about a video game. Like usually video game TV shows are just garbage. They can't quite figure it out. And those are the games I like to play if I'm playing games like the action adventure games. Last of Us, one of my favorite games of all time to play. That, Resident Evil, Fallout, which was another great TV show. If you haven't seen that one and you played Fallout or you've heard about Fallout, give that one a shot. That one's outstanding. I can't wait till that comes back out again, like post-apocalyptic. Well, you'll know if you see the video game, you'll know what that one's about. And then Last of Us, kind of the same thing. I was going to say something, but if you haven't seen the episode, I'm not going to ruin it for you. If you saw the video game, you're not going to be surprised at all. You know it's coming. If you didn't watch if you don't know the video game, you are going to be, what in the fuck just happened? Are you kidding me? What? Yeah, that's what you're going to say. But if you played the video game, you'll know. You'll know what's coming. And so, but Fallout, yeah, I'm a big fan of Fallout. And I got to say, Walton Goggins is one of my favorites. Love that dude. Now, I haven't seen White Lotus. I've heard this season you don't have to watch like the previous seasons to know because this one's like a standalone season. So maybe I'll give it a shot. I don't know. That show just hasn't hit me yet. But if you haven't seen Justified with Walton Goggins and Timothy Oliphant, do yourself a favor. You got like 7 seasons. Incredible. Love that. Walton Goggins. Vice Principals with Danny McBride. That one's a banger. The only problem with that one is I think that one's on like 2 seasons. What channel is Last of Us? HBO. I think Justified was FX. And Vice Principals was either HBO or Showtime, one or the other. Oh, Fallout. I think Fallout was on Prime. Bro, Google it. We got. I'm gonna do you a favor, DC. I'm gonna look it up for you right now because I'm a full service outlet. Fallout drama series. There you go. Prime. Bang. You're welcome. Look, I got you covered. All right. Or if you have Freevee, I don't have Freevee. So, but I do have Amazon Prime, along with pretty much everything else. So yeah. Walton Goggins is the man. That guy. He's in like a couple of my favorite TV shows of all time. Right? Justified is one of my favorites of all time. And then I got to finish. I think I got one more episode of Bosch Legacy. If you haven't seen Bosch Legacy, it's a good one. It's a good one. I think this is the last season too. I think we're done. And so, oh yeah. Kenneth, yeah, I love that show too. Righteous Gemstones. It's incredible. What is it, Brother Billy? I believe I think it's Brother Billy. I got all the episodes stored up. We got off at one year, and then I got the last like 3 episodes of one season, and then this whole season. But Reacher, yes, yeah, I watch Reacher. Dude's massive. So I already finished that season. We're done with that. Oh, let me give you one more. You get one more you got to watch. Then look, I'm giving you guys straight bangers here, so I hope you appreciate this. Watch Slow Horses. Gary Oldman, my buddy Bergie, who was on the show a couple weeks ago, he turned me on to that, and that thing is awesome. I believe that's a Prime too, but I think that's a Prime special. Although that might be a Hulu special. Slow Horses. Let's see. Yeah, Prime. Prime has a lot of good shows, but yeah, Slow Horses. Check that out. It's like a CIA spy, espionage, that kind of stuff. I'm into those shows. I kind of dig those shows. So there, I give you like 5. You're like good for a long, long time now. And so, and you got basketball, but in between like basketball and the sort of football season, we got baseball though. And so, and I'll be getting into baseball a little bit. Hopefully have some baseball guests on, stuff like that. Giants playing some good baseball. I mean, you know what I noticed today? The Dodgers are 17 games up on the Rockies right now. 17. I think I love my on pace stats. They're on pace to finish like 80 games ahead of the Rockies. I mean, I'm sorry. Damn you, Rockies. Damn you, Dinger, for killing my throat. The Rockies aren't even on pace to win 30 games. Oh, my God. Anyway. All right. We're out of here. Thanks for joining us, everybody. I appreciate it. And we'll be back at you probably Tuesday before the game. Do a little preview for you guys. All right. Everybody have a lovely rest of your Sunday evening. Thanks for joining. Appreciate it. Bye.